Hello and welcome to another episode of the Sustenance and Covering Show. And today I'm here with Thomas Tucker, one of my YouTube subscribers who was kind enough to invite me to come stay at his condo in Pensacola. Actually, that isn't what happened. He called me and said
he forced himself on me.
I didn't even ask him. I just came over here. He says, me and him, as Sustenance and Covering, I have a lot of stress that during the day. It's just, I get to where I'm all excited about something I'm working on, and I'll call different subscribers that have opened themselves up to me. And so he's one of the guys. Like once a month I'll talk to him. Once a month I talk to, I've got a group of them, BMX Ion and Ala Toledo one and Carlos. And I called him and he said, I'm sorry I haven't been around for a while, and now I'm getting ready to go on vacation, so I probably won't be able to talk to you again for a couple of weeks. And I was like, where are you going? I'm going to Pensacola, Florida with my family, and we're going to stay down there. I said, well, what are you going to do? He said, I'm just going to stay at my condo. And they got their own separate condo. I said, well, you ain't going to believe this, but I know somebody else that's going to Pensacola, Florida. Who? Who is it? And who was it? Hey, you, are you awake? Are you okay?
Who was it? I don't know. I don't know.
So anyways, I said, I'm going. He goes, well, what are you going to be doing in Florida? I said, I'm going to be sleeping in your condo. So I brought my sleeping bag and this is just a one-bedroom thing. They got those fold-out sofas. I was kind of cautious, but I brought my sleeping bag and I tried sleeping in that thing for like an hour, and I got up and set my sleeping bag on the floor. But
yeah, we're just chit-chatting.
Yeah, that's all.
It's nice to have somebody chit-chat with. Well, actually, I don't chat much. I just listen.
Yeah, he's making fun of the fact that I never shut up. But anyways, I was telling him, oh yeah, man, I'm going to come down there. It's only 3 hours from my house. And believe it or not, I think it took me like 3 hours and 1 minute to get here. And actually, I said 2.5 hours, right? But then he said he was on Navarre Beach. That's where we are right here, is Navarre Beach. And it's like it's a bit more driving, 15 more minutes to get over to this side of Pensacola. But I got to go to make a few bathroom stops and such. So I got here in 3 hours and 1 minute.
Just almost exactly.
And then, okay, here's the thing. I told him, I said, man, I go to Pensacola every year. I love going to they got this fort over there called Fort Barrancas, and they got near it another fort called Advanced Redoubt, which are masonry, like almost underground forts. They're built above ground, but they're built with really thick brick walls, and then they filled them in with dirt. So there's this massive, they're like Civil War bunkers. And so I got to thinking, wait, they're still having the PretenDemic. Let me make sure that they're going to be open, and no, they weren't. So everything that's on the Naval Air Station was closed, but I looked up Fort Pickens, which is 30 miles that way, and it was open. And so we went down there. And the good thing is it's like a 30-mile drive right through just nothing but sand dunes. What were we talking about? Oh yeah, we had the beach on both sides of us. We were driving down there, and we got to it, and both of us are old men, so first thing we had to do was find a bathroom. And them old Civil War forts do not have any kind of plumbing in them. They're built in 1834, that one we were at. But they have a ferry launch right there, because on the other side of the bay in Mobile, there's another fort, and so they have a ferry that goes between the two, and there's a bathroom right there by the ferry. And so we went there, and we came out, and this plane went right overhead, really, really low, really fast, and it was blue and gold. And so I said, Thomas, that's a Blue Angel flying over. And he said, is it? I said, yeah, it's blue and gold. That's a Blue Angel color. And the next thing you know, 5 more of them flew over. And they were doing loop-de-loops, and they were doing these things where they were all flying in formation. And every now and then they would press a little button in their plane, and smoke would come out, different colors of smoke, and it was cool because I absolutely refuse to go to air shows, because I feel like if I'm doing that, I'm encouraging these guys to fly these airplanes. And about once a year, some kind of an air show guy will just do a pile driver right into the ground and blow up his plane and die. And I don't want to have his blood guilt on my hands. So I don't go out and attend them air shows, but I don't mind if they come and do an air show right over me. That's good logic,
cool.
right?
Yeah, it was cool. Oh, and to get in, you would have to pay $25, but because he's retarded, he got a national park card.
Yeah, they asked me. It says, "Anybody in here handicapped?" I was like, "Is it anybody here senior citizen?" And I'm like,
yeah.
"Well, he's like 63 or something." He says, "I'm 72."
Well, he's not handicapped. He's mentally challenged.
Yeah, we don't like to. We think of ourselves as
politically correct.
Yeah, we're not handicapped. We're yeah,
mentally challenged.
Yeah, there's some kind of word that I'm supposed to get mad about, but the other word is okay. But anyways, this is really cool because I had got a email from the VA about a year ago, and it said all veterans from now on, it's all like some kind of law. If you're a veteran, you can get a lifetime park pass. America Beautiful National Park Pass. Just kind of turn in your credentials, send them a copy of your DD-214 or whatever. It's kind of it's one of the things, you can do it online. But anyways, that man was saying, have you got any kind of paperwork to prove that you're disabled? And I think what it is, if you're disabled, you can get the pass for a year for like $10 or something. So I didn't even want to pay $10. But I said, well, I think it says that I have disability on my VA ID card. And he goes, oh, okay, well, let me have your VA card. And so I gave it to him. And he said, you're really going to like this deal I'm making for you. And he gave it to me for free. I didn't even realize that these parks were available, because I was planning a trip in my camper when I built it to go out west and see the Grand Canyon, Yellowstone, Yosemite. And so I knew that I could use this pass to go to that. And I was going to get one. But man, just to be driving there, and the guy just handed it to me. I thought there was some kind of, I would have to show him more than just my VA ID, but they were cool. They were just like, oh yeah, this is yours. He said, put your signature on the back and don't let nobody else use this because this is yours. You earned it. I was so happy. I didn't tell him. He was all excited about me being a veteran. I didn't say anything about not killing anybody, but usually I'll tell him, I didn't really kill anybody. I just got my money and got out.
He saved my life.
Yeah.
He earned it.
Yeah, that's right. He's free because of me.
Yeah.
So anyway, that was fun. That was the most funnest thing that happened, is to get this given to me without having to turn in a bunch of forms.
Yeah, that was cool.
Oh, and then we saw something else. We didn't videotape it.
Oh, that Century plant. First time I ever seen it. What was it? Agave plant.
They put out millions of babies. I've got one in my yard, and it's like around the base, there's all these little ones, and a little further down there's littler ones, and a little further down there's littler ones. And each one is its own plant. But what happens, the reason they call them a century plant, they used to say that they only bloom once every 100 years, which isn't true. I think they said that some of them are 50 years or some of them are 25 years, but we were driving along and this thing had a bloom on it. And it's not like any other plants you've seen. Agaves are about maybe 3 or 4 feet tall. And when they bloom like overnight. You'll go to sleep and that thing will be 4 feet tall. And the next morning you get up and there'll be a stalk about 20 feet tall, and then it puts out these little limbs with hanging flowers. And so the one we saw, I was driving along and I just caught it out of the corner of my eye, so I went up a ways and turned around. And I said, do you know what agave is? And I'm going to show you what agave plant looks like when it blooms.
Yeah, I was amazed that stalk was good 20 feet up in the air. It looked like a small tree, about 4 inches diameter stalk.
Yeah, you can look that up. Just agave plant or century plant blooming, and look at what they look like. Like for 99 years, they look like a regular century plant, and then one day they just put out this giant stalk. I don't know that I've ever seen one grow from a seed. They come off the roots so easy. I think that's how they make them.
I guess the seeds would be up in plants.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, you'll never get them unless you cut the thing down. You know. Well. Anyways, it seemed like we did something else, didn't we? Oh yeah, we went to a Publix.
Oh yeah.
People that live in this area, Publix are everywhere. My brother talks about going to Publix all the time up in Montgomery, Alabama. But I've been to one once, I think, a long time ago. But he's never been to one. So we went in there because both of us have been eating junk food since I've been here, and I didn't feel too good. I needed to get a salad, and they had these packs of salad, and it was the salad I got had blueberries and feta cheese and strawberries in it, and some kind of like a sweet and sour sauce or something.
Yeah, it looked good.
What did you have? What was yours?
Oh, lettuce and peas, carrots.
Didn't it have
onions.
ham? Did it have ham in it?
Oh, and ham.
And
ranch dressing.
Ranch dressing. He loves ranch dressing.
It was good.
I feel better than I felt in the last 2 days.
Yeah.
To get that salad. I'm eating salads and fruit all the time. You know, I try not to eat too much heavy stuff, and so coming here and just having all the junk you have for vacation, I was feeling kind of queasy. I've been working on the Melchizedek scripts, and what I have done so far, I went back and I rewrote part 1, which was I can't even remember the cycle of them, but you've seen part 1, part 2, part 3. They're exactly the same. It's just that I've written them so that I'm not repeating myself over and over again, and that I'm not leaving anything out, because it's a series. Pretty much to understand part 2, you have to understand part 1, and so on all the way to the end. Well, a while back I completed part 4, which is the book of Melchizedek. And if you've ever read the Bible, you know that when you get to the book of Hebrews, like the whole thing is about the entire history of the Hebrew people, and it compares Jesus to Melchizedek, the rightful king of the Promised Land. So I did that. The book of Melchizedek is basically the book of Hebrews. And then part 5, I can't even remember. I finished part 5. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 was already finished. I started working on part 6, which is what was Jesus' family life like? Because in the Bible, you know, the churches want us to believe that Jesus was beaten by everybody. All his brothers and sisters hated him. His mother didn't want to listen to him. But the reality is, if you read the Bible and you know who's who, you know who is Mary, who is Joseph, then you find out that Jesus' entire family, which was huge, he had a whole bunch of brothers and sisters and half brothers and half sisters, and every one of them supported him. And after Jesus ascended into heaven, they are the ones that took the message around the world. So that's number 6. Number 7 is about the writer of the book of John, because as I was doing research on Jesus' family, I thought, well, I know that when Jesus was dying, he looked at the disciple whom he loved and he said, "This is your mother." And then he looked at his mother and said, "This is your child." And so the churches have been arguing over who this person is for thousands of years. You know, you can go back and look at stuff that was written in Rome, you know, when the Roman Empire was the Catholic Church, and those guys were fighting over the identity of the person who ended up Jesus giving this person to his mother. And the whole reason they argue about it is because that person is the person that wrote the book of John. Everybody knows that the disciple who was at the crucifixion, who was given his mother, was the writer of the book of John. And it isn't the John. John's not the writer. Everybody has been arguing so much that they just came to a consensus that probably it was John, so we're going to name it the book of John. But the Bible very clearly names this person. I mean, it names this person in a way that cannot be denied. And in fact, Matthew, Mark, and Luke all named who was the writer of the book of John. So that's a big one. That's a really big one, and it's going to be like any other sustenance and covering video. You're going to know automatically that it's the truth, and when you see how it's laid out in the Bible, there's not going to be any denying it. But then with the fifth part, that's part 7. Part 8 is going to be who is Jesus, and this is going to be the highlight of the whole thing. I've got almost 3/4 of part 6 done, and 3/4 of part 7, or half of part 7 done. So you're going to find out all about Jesus' early life. You're going to find out what the book of Hebrews means. You're going to find out who wrote the book of John and why that's so incredible. It's just one of the most important things that you need to know about the Bible. And the last thing is who is Jesus, because Jesus came to earth years before the 1st century, and the reason he was chosen to be the Savior of mankind is because of something that he did in his previous life that the Bible talks about from Genesis to Revelation. That good enough? So, see, he gets to be an insider because he every now and then I can call him and he will comfort me. And so I share things with him, and I share them with a few of my closest friends, and so he knows what's coming up. Is it any good?
Yeah.
I mean, is it
Great. Fantastic.
mind-blowing?
Mind-blowing.
Hey, maybe we should, at this point, edit in the video of us sitting out on the beach with them jets going right past us.
Yeah.
Action shots. Okay, here we are just randomly parking in a space, and there goes the Blue Angels. Well, there's my car, and there's Fort Pickens. We're on Pensacola Beach, and there's the Blue Angels practicing, 6 of them. I guess that's how many there are. I think that looks like there's four right here. I can't see through my viewfinder.
I gotta get a drink of water.
Yeah, go do that. You know what? I'm going to show them. I'm going to take video. I'm going to show you some video of this area around here so you can see where I'm at.
Yeah.
There's the ocean, and here's our little street we're on. It's called Tina Drive, I think. And looking south at the real ocean, or I guess it's real ocean. I don't think there's another island out there. Pensacola Beach is like a separate little section, but I think we may be kind of like partway on that. But all of these skyscraper things are they're like condos or whatever you call them, and they're built on sand. It's absolutely insane. When we used to come down here as kids, we would drive for at least 50 miles without seeing a house or a building. You know, they had like a little fishing bait shop down there somewhere, and the rest of it was nothing. And now it's just miles of condos everywhere you look.